Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer, and I am board-certified. That means I've got a lot of trials under my belt. That means I am certified by the National Board of Trial Advocacy and by the Minnesota State Bar Association as a criminal law and criminal trial specialist. And so that's what I do. I try cases, and I've been in cases where you win, and you know what? I've been in cases where I've lost. But this episode, before we get too much further into the woods, is brought to you by eforms.com. What did I say? I said eforms.com. Eforms.com is an excellent resource, the resource to go to if you need a legal form. If you need a power of attorney, if you need a bill of sale or a lease agreement, eviction, if you're trying to get somebody out of your home, let's say your grandma's just been staying at your place way too long and she's not paying any rent, get her out of there. You get a form on eforms.com. Don't hire me. Get the form on eforms.com. You save a ton of money, and that's where you need to go. So this is a little bit of a somber episode because we're talking about Jeffrey Dahmer here. Now, Jeffrey Dahmer was a serial killer. No other way to describe it. And he really got off on killing and fucking his victims. He really got off on that shit. And it's just so sad. So Netflix has created this series. And in fact, if you watch like HLN, and 2020 and all these other shows, you have these real crime drama shows. Now, I'm a criminal defense lawyer, and, our channel, and we're making money off of criminal whatever, but we try to inform and not sensationalize too much, a little bit, but not too much. And we got our start in the hip-hop culture and trying to create a positive message about stopping the killing, right? Well, if everybody stopped killing, these shows would just go dark. I am going to talk to you a little bit about families. Enough about the killers, enough about Jeffrey Dahmer. Let's talk about the families. I've seen so many over the years. I've seen so many victim impact statements. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, not all of my clients are innocent. Okay? And when somebody dies at the hands of another, it impacts somebody. Just like, we're all connected, right, to certain people in our lives, and you have what they call the ripple in the pond effect. Somebody dies here, it just affects everybody. I had a client recently, really wonderful guy, and felt he had to have a weapon with him at all times because of where he is and where he lives, and he had a record, and he got popped for it, right? While he's in custody, he had 2 of his family members die, one by gun violence and one by natural causes. Ripple in the pond, right? And one was a 15-year-old, one was his mother. It hurts. When anybody dies sooner than they're supposed to, it hurts, period. But when somebody dies at the hands of a serial killer, when somebody dies at the hands of a monster, and that's the name of the series on Netflix, it fucking is senseless. It is, he's consuming these people for his own gratification. And that's just not right. And that's there's no words to describe the grief some of these people feel. Now, I don't know why Netflix all of a sudden decided to do another Dahmer special. I mean, it's nothing happened in the Dahmer world that, this is just fucking gratuitous. Oh, let's make money off of this. So when you look at that special, and I'm not saying that you do, but they do a fucking reenactment that I think is so tasteless. I think it's just so awful. And we'll put a picture of it here. It's Rita Isabel from 1992 is on one side. There's a split screen. And then you have the Netflix special. And they're trying to reenact it. And what are you doing there? You're making money and re-traumatizing the families. Her Rita's cousin was a 19-year-old kid that was at the Milwaukee Mall and He's the 11th victim. There were 16 total. He got 16 life fucking sentences. So he was at the mall and he was conned. It wasn't like Jeffrey Dahmer pulled up in a van and fucking beat the shit out of him and overpowered him. No, he was conned. And I know he's 19, but he was a young kid. And this young kid trusted him and went back to his place and was murdered, and he had sex with him, and took him apart. Why do we need to sensationalize that in a miniseries? And now people see the aftermath of Jeffrey Dahmer. They see him contrite, and they see him whatever. The best thing that could have happened to him is what happened to him. He was eliminated from the planet. I'm not a fan of the death penalty, but when you have somebody that's so evil and he's consuming human beings, he had them in his apartment in vats of acid. I mean, what the fuck? But then so the family is, there's a quote here from Eric Perry. He says, "I'm not telling anyone what to watch. I know true crime media is huge right now, but if you're actually curious about the victims, my family, the Isbells, are pissed about this show. It's re-traumatizing over and over, and for what? How many movies, shows, documentaries do we need?" And I can't agree with him more. Now, I'm a criminal defense lawyer, right? It's our job to get people off if we can. 99% of the time, the government does their job, and, do we get people off that are innocent? Sometimes, but not really. Not like this. Fucking not like this. So my heart goes out to the Isbell family, and, why don't we do a documentary about who this kid was? I guarantee it would stop the fucking Netflix in its tracks. When you say, okay, who was this young man? What did he like to do? Was he good at sports? Did he? See, you get deep into who the victim was, and you clench up a little bit, which is what I just fucking did. I didn't even know him. I have no emotional connection to him whatsoever. But you start thinking about the victim a little bit, and especially this family who I'm sure you all have seen her reaction in the courtroom. She fucking lost it. And we're not going to play it here, and we're not going to play it because I don't want to play that card. I could play that card and have, oh, look at this, but you know what? Damn it, she needs some peace. They need some peace, and I'll just tell you, nobody deserves to die like Jeffrey Dahmer's victims died. All 16 of them, or probably more. I bet you there were more. They just didn't get them all. And the cops had some markers, but you know what it is? It's complacency. The cops never in their wildest imagination thought, X, Y, or Z, because we just tend to not think that way. The complacency is amazing because it costs lives in this case. He had a 14-year-old Asian boy that tried to run away, and the cops brought him back. A neighbor of his called the cops multiple times. And so I take Eric's words to heart. Notice we're not showing a single picture of the monster up here because, some people have gone so far as to cry, oh, he's not that bad a guy, he's he's remorseful, he's insightful. No, he knew he should fucking die. He knew he wasn't going to change, and he knew he had a sick predilection for killing people and fucking them and then dismembering them and then keeping them as a trophy. Well, those kind of... I'm not for the death penalty, but I'm also not for the continued existence of people who destroy the lives of so many. So like I said, this is this is a heartfelt message to Eric and his family and Rita. When you saw her do what she did in that courtroom, what did you see? What did you see? What the fuck did you see? You saw fucking pain. That's what you saw. That's what pain, real pain looks like, because it's so senseless. Just like the killing of these rappers is senseless. When you see these young guys die for no fucking reason, just for beefs, it's getting to the point where it is almost serial killers, like in Jacksonville, where you got 50 unsolved homicides. People dying for no reason. This somehow is just at a different level, because he's consuming these people. So, anyway, this is our message to Eric Perry and Rita Isbell, and hoping that you guys get some peace, and hopefully this thing just kind of goes away. It's Netflix. Hopefully it'll go away. So, we love you. We love everybody that's a subscriber to our channel, and we really appreciate your support. So show some love to these guys somehow. I don't know. Eric's on Twitter, it looks like. Show him some love, because they need it. This is Bruce Rivers, Criminal Lawyer Reacts. So make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Patreon. And we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.